Hey, yeah, oh, 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 yeah.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, nothing really major going on in the news except for the whole mass shooting thing in Buffalo. And the media is straight up lying to the people about what it was really all about. The guy was a racist, but he was mentally disturbed, mentally ill. He considered himself a far left extremist, not a Republican, not a Trump supporter. The media is going on about this white conspiracy theory thing or whatever they're talking about. Most people probably never even really heard of it. And it actually has to deal with immigration, not black people. So it's kind of retarded. The media just twists everything. It's white supremacy, blah, blah, blah. Yet there were like, I think there were 12 other mass shootings over that weekend it happened and everything. But they're not covering any of them. Because most of them were not white. Most of them were black shooters. There was a couple of Asians, I think, or whatever, but none of them were black, or none of them were white people. It was mainly black people. But they're all focused on this guy in New York because there were no gun laws there and blah, blah, blah. And nobody had guns to defend themselves. Well, now they're going on about the whole gun control thing again, blah, blah, blah. If they didn't have guns. The guy wasn't even from the area. He went and bought a gun and modified it. So, and then came into that area. So it's just dumb. It's all retarded. The media are idiots. And they're trying to divide the country and start a race war, and it's just fucking stupid. And anyone who buys their bullshit is a retard. Anyways, that was the only thing big in the news today, or this past week. It's still going on, but whatever. Moving on. First thing I want to talk to you about is this past week's episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Go get you strange. This show's dumb. This show is just retarded. This last episode was all about a character that's not even supposed to be, according to the timeline, a part of the Enterprise. And that's Cadet Uhura, not Lieutenant, Cadet Uhura, which, the only time you ever see like a cadet on a starship in any of the Star Treks was when you had Star Trek The Next Generation. You had Wesley Crusher, who was going from the Academy to the Enterprise, and he would only pay the Enterprise a visit and then go back to the Academy. So this was kind of stupid that they have this Cadet Uhura, who's a full-time member of the Enterprise, which she's not even supposed to be on the Enterprise yet. Not until Kirk shows up. Anyways, the whole episode is about her and how wonderful and how amazing she is at solving everything. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, gag me with the fucking spoon. It was just retarded. Now, I don't know how about other people are, but honestly, for my preference as far as looks go for a woman, if they don't at least have a bob cut haircut, you know, something just above the shoulders length of hair, they do not look good. Women do not look good. That whole shave the head thing is just, ugh. I'm sorry, it's ugly. It's gross. When women don't have at least hair down to almost their shoulders. Anything above that, it's terrible looking. It makes them look ugly. You know, that's my preference. You know, I prefer a woman that has that at least almost shoulder length hair. Anyways, yeah, the whole episode was about Cadet Uhura and how she's just the greatest cadet ever, you know. And she's, you know, Lieutenant Uhura knew how to sing or whatever. They made the whole episode about this musical shit, it being a language. And then they had to bring the zealots or zealots or whatever the fuck you want to call them. They had another race that shows up and starts shooting at them, telling them, yo, let this archaeological find on this asteroid of this ancient civilization, leave it alone. We don't know what it does. We just let it do what it does. If it's mean to kill people, it's mean to kill people. So they had the whole religious science thing going on. It was a dumb episode. It really was. And then they tried to do some shit with Spock. And I hate that guy playing Spock. Can't stand him. He's no Spock. Anyways, terrible episode. And that was the gist of it. It was dumb. Moving on. I just finally got around and done watching The Secrets of Dumbledore, the third installment of Fantastic Beasts, you know, the continuation of the Harry Potter series. Now, J.K. Rowling only turned Dumbledore gay because she was trying to cater to the alphabet community, or the 0.001% of the population. Anyways, it just didn't fit that he was gay. I don't mind the actor who played Grimwald, but he didn't fit the part. They should have left alone, let Johnny Depp still continue that part. But they're part of the cancel culture, and they got it wrong. Obviously, if you've been watching the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trials, you know she lied out her ass about the whole thing. But anyways, the movie. Basically, Grimwald's trying to take over, being leader of the witch and wizard world, which is kind of dumb. But anyways, he starts forming his little posse of Death Eaters. And then Newt and the others, they have to get this particular type of animal, magical animal, that can find someone who's pure of heart to lead the witching world. And how they do that is they will bow in front of them. if it looks like a little deer or something, if it bows in front of you, this little magical creature, then you're fit to lead because you're pure of heart, blah, blah, blah. And you mean to do good. Or you're a good, really good person. I honestly thought they were going to do it with the human, the Moogle or whatever the fuck they call him, who has no magic ability. I thought that's who the animal would have bowed to. But no. The magical creature bows down in front of Dumbledore, and I'm like, bullshit. Dumbledore has done some pretty shitty things. He is not pure heart at all. So that was right there, was a contradictory right there. But anyways, the whole idea of the magical animal bowing down to someone who's good, pure heart, it was just dumb. It was, I don't know, it felt lazy, like lazy writing. It was, the whole movie did. It was terrible. I really didn't care for it at all. It was a terrible rendition. But anyways, do I recommend it? Unless you're a hardcore Harry Potter fan, no. Even then, you're going to be disappointed. I give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. It really wasn't very good. It was just okay. They could have done better. Alright, let's get on to your B-movie reviews.
Then I dash away from Popo. Yeah, sex around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no.
Alright, Movieholics, this week I got a couple of sci-fi adventures for it. Well, it's basically sci-fi adventures, but this is Sci-Fi Week. Alright, this week we are taking a look at one movie that a lot of people don't know about. Some do, but not a lot. It was done in New Zealand. It was done in 1985. Made about $2 million worldwide. A very underrated movie. It was... You just have to watch it to know what I'm talking about. It starred Bruno Lawson, Alison Rutledge, and Pete Smith. And the movie is called The Quiet Earth. Now basically the story is this guy wakes up at the beginning of the movie after seeing some light special effects. He gets up, he gets ready, and he starts going out to like go to work or whatever, and he noticed there's nobody in town. Like the whole town's deserted. In some places he sees it, you know, like the gas station, the coffee pot's still going. There's a cigar lit in the ashtray that's only half smoked, and you know, food just got done, and blah, blah, just stuff like that. Things are running, but there's nobody there. Almost, I think in some cases he even sees just clothes laying in a chair or some crap like that. So he's like kind of weirded out, like what the hell's going on? Cars are just left on the side of the road running, doors open. He gets to work. He's trying to figure out what's going on. and he notices that this guy is like half sucked dry. It's a weird looking effect, you know, like he's half dehydrated, but he's dead. Come to find out, he works at a government facility where they were experimenting on electromagnetic energy in the atmosphere in between the sun and Earth. They were trying to do something to where they would get more energy out of these electromagnetic waves in our atmosphere, which they have proven that there is electromagnetic energy all in our atmosphere. But anyways, something went wrong. The project was called Project Flashlight. Supposedly he goes and tells, well, eventually he runs across this young woman. They're glad that they're not alone, but it seems like everybody else on the earth is gone. So they kind of hook up naturally. He's trying to figure out what's going on. She's just trying to have a good time. And then they run across another guy, Pete Smith, the black guy. He kind of takes the other guy's girl, basically. She likes him better. But anyways, they each end up telling the story of how they died, because just as the experiment happened, these weird flashing lights, they all died at the same time, and that's why they're guessing that's why they didn't move on like the rest of the people did. At the end of the movie, he decides to blow up the facility, which is connected to the sun and causing the weird effects that they keep experiencing. And at the end of the movie, it shows him, he's all alone, you know, as he kind of figured, because he tried to commit suicide. So he's now died twice. Left the other two behind. And he's on a moon of Saturn. You see Saturn raising up in the background. Weird clouds. So you tell he's on a different planet. He's on the moon, one of the moons of Saturn. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people try to claim that it has something to do with religion, but the director, the writer, said that has nothing to do with religion. It's a scientific thing. Basically, the project messed with time and space, and it caused dimensional shifts, and these three ended up in a different dimension than the rest of the population. Some of them, a few others almost made it through, but not quite. They died, because they do find a few dead bodies. But anyways, he ends up going through another dimensional shift, but instead of just traveling through a dimension in time, he ends up traveling through space as well, and ends up on this moon. And that's the end of the movie. It's a really good movie, even though it only has 3 actors in it. It's actually a pretty decent movie. I thought it was real good, and you know, it kept you guessing to find out what exactly was going on through most of the movie. I give it 2 thumbs up. If you're a hardcore sci-fi fan, you will definitely like this movie. Check it out. The only gripe I had about this movie was it's just kind of typical, you know, the woman's situation where she gets with the guy, and then all of a sudden, you know, someone else comes along, and naturally she wants to try them too. You know, it's just typical of a woman. But anyways, moving on. The second one is called Solarbabies, and it was done in 1986. It made about 2 million worldwide as well. Started Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz. There were a few other actors in there that you might recognize. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of your 80s cheese films, sci-fi films. It had several things wrong with it, but at the same time, it was like so bad it's good type movie. The story wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm real big into post-apocalyptic movies, so I really like them. It's just the 80s did a bunch of them, and towards the late 70s, early 80s, there was a bunch of these, and most of them were just cheesy as fuck and weren't really that good. Every once in a while, you'd have one that was really good, like the Mad Max series. And a lot of your other films, they try to copy the Mad Max series, especially your Italian films. Italian films are usually cheesy knockoffs off of box office hits anyway. But anyways, in this one, you have a government that controls water on the planet Earth. Most of the water's dried up, and they control most of the water. So in order to get water, you basically have to be a part of their system. You have to work for them. That kind of thing. Almost like slaves. And they have, when it comes to children, they have these adoptive camps where they take the children and put them in there and train them to be a part of the system. They indoctrinate them to like working for the system so they can get their water. Anyways, they also have this game which is like skee ball. You got this ball and these like hockey puck type sticks or whatever, and you put it in a goal. But they play for that sport all the time. Kind of one of the recreation type things. Anyways, the Solarbabies are part of one of these teams, and then you have another team, a rival team called the Scorpions that work for the system. You have one guy, he's called the Protectorate. He's kind of like one of the bosses in charge, I guess. And he controls the wasteland. They call them E-Cops or Eco-Cops. You also had some Eco-Warriors who used to fight the system and the Eco-Cops, but then they nearly got wiped out, so they kind of went into hiding. What you find out is the girl is part of the girl that's part of the group. One girl, and you also have that one token black guy that you found in a lot of 80 movies. But anyway, she's part of that group. That's like her father is like the leader of the Eco Warriors. You'll find that later on in the movie. You also have another group called the Chicotes, or not Chicotes, Chicanis. Chicanis. The Chicanis are like an Indian group or something. Yet most of them are white. It's just kind of weird. But they're kind of like nomads. You have one kid, he's part of that group, who ends up joining them. Anyway, there's this legend that there's a being from space that will come down and bring them water. His name is Bodai. Well, they the little one, he finds, there's a little one of the group of the Solarbabies. Anyway, he has a hearing problem. He finds this little glowing ball and starts calling it Bodai. And it gives it back, he gives it back his hearing, and all kinds of other weird stuff. They eventually, the Bodai gets captured by the Protectorate. They're trying to crack it open. It doesn't work. The Solarbabies go in and rescue the Bodai, or the little ball or whatever, and they bust open the dams that the government was holding all the water, which causes the atmosphere to start having thunderstorms again, and it starts raining all over the earth again. And Bodai supposedly fulfilled his mission, brought water back to the planet, and then went back off into space. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Now, there's some real cheesy effects in this, but it's not bad. The acting's okay. The only problem that I don't know who came up with the idea that they should all be wearing roller skates all the damn fucking time. I didn't have a problem when they were playing the game at the beginning of the movie, but after that, it's like when they're traveling everywhere, on the sand, on the rocks, they're wearing these damn roller skates when they got shoes, but yet they're always wearing the roller skates. And like the whole wasteland, traveling through the rocks and dirt and shit, you know, they just got this path that's outlined for them that they can just roller skate through. And I'm going, get the fuck out of here. It's so dumb. It would have made more sense if they had rollerblades, not roller skates. But anyways, it was a dumb idea for the roller skate shit. The costumes were silly looking. It looked like someone took some spray painted a bunch of goofy ass looking potato sacks and put it over them. It was just dumb looking. Anyways, that part was dumb. That was cheesy. They shouldn't have done that shit. But for the most part, even though it was cheesy, it was still at least a good one-time watch. As an 80s flick, I enjoyed it, even though it's, like I said, some of the elements in the movie were just really, really cheesily put together. I definitely give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, just because there's some people are going to just say it's just too damn cheesy. But I thought it was at least a decent one-time watch. It's one of the better 80s films. Definitely check it out. Oh, one more thing. The vehicles. Like I said, I'm into post-apocalyptic movies, and they were trying all kinds of weird shit back then in these movies to come up with some cool futuristic vehicles or whatever. The vehicles were actually done pretty good. It's just you could tell it was all slapped on, put together, But I give them effort for what they were trying to do, because they were making them look pretty cool looking, even though you could tell it was like bondage wire and shit they put together. They still look pretty cool. I wish they would have done them a little bit better. They just looked like they were slapped on together. But anyways, check it out. If you're a hardcore sci-fi fan, you'll probably like it. Anyways, if you have any comments or, ideas, thoughts, whatever, about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions of underrated movies or cult classics or something like that you think I may have never have seen or heard of, Please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.